Okay, so without further ado, can we bring Wendy Edwards into the chat?
I think we can.
I think we can. Wendy, would you mind unmuting your microphone?
Yeah.
Good evening, Wendy.
Hello, Wendy.
Hi.
Are you okay? How are you doing?
Fine. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good. Things seem to be going okay so far. We just had a chat with Chris Quebecer about industrial control systems and all that kind of stuff, which was really interesting. Now, I've got a question for you because we've known each other on Twitter for probably about 18 months, I think. And
that sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah, the one thing that really struck me when I saw your Twitter profile was that you call yourself a NASA datanaut.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I wonder if you wouldn't mind giving us a little bit of an insight into what that actually means, because to me that sounds fascinating.
So it actually is. So I've actually gotten people who assume that I work for NASA, and I don't.
Okay.
So the NASA Datanauts is a program where people can that allows people enjoy it and learn more about data science.
Cool.
So it's like I've gotten to travel to the headquarters a few times, and we have something called water cooler chats where people present sessions just usually related to data science, and they talked about machine learning and stuff. And so and I've just met some really wonderful people through there.
And does your work contribute to the furthering of what NASA does, or how does that work?
Okay, so it's kind of interesting. We don't work for NASA, and so we can't do. So they can't specifically request us to do projects for them because the rules prohibit it. But we have participated in their citizen science challenges. So there's something called the NASA Space Apps Challenge. I don't know if anybody on here has participated in that.
Not me, but I'm guessing people will say so if they have.
Yeah.
You have?
No, I haven't, but I was just going to say, I was agreeing that these are the type of programs that we want to bring to light for the audience. So I guess what I'm trying to say is this is a great initiative. And is this your program that you've come up with?
Oh, no, so it's not my program. NASA SpaceX Challenge is actually a separate program that's also run by NASA. But groups of datanauts have gotten together to participate in the NASA SpaceX Challenge. And that's really kind of neat. It's sort of a citizen science hackathon that very often uses NASA and other data to address problems related to Earth and space, Earth and space exploration. So, for example, cool. This year, one of the some of the challenges related to ocean trash and rising water levels. They do actually quite a lot with a lot of challenges related to climate change.
And I guess when people think of NASA to begin with, obviously the name is National Aeronautics and Space Administration.
Yes.
And I think people presumably think that that's just about sending people in rockets up to space. But I know, I'm not that familiar with the work, but I do know that they do a hell of a lot more than that. They do look at, like you say, the things that are going on the planet. And a lot of their
So actually, the thing about the things that on the planet is, so they send satellites into space that basically do a lot of imagery and remotes. And so a lot of times when you talk about the satellite pictures, a lot of times that falls under the category of something called remote sensing.
Right.
And they do, in fact, a whole lot of processing on it. So, there are things, I think I can't remember them off the top of my head, sorry, but it's like there are things you can, there are programs and stuff, web-based explorers and stuff that you can call up and view a whole lot of data about Earth.
Okay.
You can view, you can view the satellite images, you can view temperature, you can view information about winds. You can view, I believe, algae in the ocean. There's just all kinds of stuff.
Sounds fascinating.
It really is, and there's also something called EONet that has a lot of information related to basically disasters.
Right.
Okay.
So you can view that too. So so in a sense, their interest in Earth is basically because they can send satellites up into the atmosphere that will turn around and take pictures of the Earth and we learn a whole lot from that imagery that they take. In fact, like some of the outer space photos help quite a bit, like with real-time disaster management. Because, like, for example, you've got a tsunami or a wildfire or a flood or something. Those satellites are taking real-time pictures of what's going on.
It's very helpful for people. I guess climatologists and people. I guess even things like predicting the weather and things that are going to happen in the next couple of days. You know, it's obviously the planet's climate is very important, and it's a subject that's in the news and on people's lips all the time.
Oh, but it's big time. Yeah. I mean, it's like if you look at it, these disasters and extreme weather and stuff, they're getting worse and more frequent, and the amount of money we're spending on them is getting a lot higher.
Yeah, sure.
It is.
So I mean, it's like a very, Greta Thunberg is not wrong.
Yeah, I agree. Completely agree.
So, I mean, and this is interesting, Wendy, because do you find yourself now sort of in the middle between a technology world and a world that is busy changing? And is sort of what maybe is your role in this? Are you a keep the lights on person, or are you a looking at the future and trying to guess where we're going to be at?
So in terms of what I do, so I actually am a software developer. So in terms of at work, and so in terms of that, I would say both. I mean, okay. It's like I maintain a lot of the stuff that's there, but I mean, I think about what are our future needs going to be and what are we going to need for that.
So obviously with these giant data sets, are you using cloud or on-premise infrastructure to manipulate and to kind of like dig deep into the data science side of things?
Actually, so at work, we actually have SQL servers that are hosted somewhere else.
Okay.
So I mean, as far as what that's, so basically, we're not using AWS or Azure. We're using a SQL server that is technically run. It was technically hosted, I believe, out of Chicago.
All right, and you're located what part of the
country? So I'm located. I don't know if anybody's heard of Champaign-Urbana, because I know you guys are out of the UK.
Yeah, no. Sounds like a wonderful place, though.
We've heard of Champaign.
Yeah.
Okay, so so Champaign and Urbana are twin cities in East Central Illinois.
Oh, okay.
So basically, we're where the University of Illinois is located. And I think a lot of people have heard of University of Illinois, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, like the orange, the blue, great engineering, not always great sports.
and so like is what you do sort of like in the community related to this, or as a community, are you more on the activism side?
No, I'm much more on the technical side.
Gotcha.
I'm technically a little bit involved in politics. I do some of the social media for the county Democratic Party. And I'm technically a precinct committeeman, though I don't do very much with that.
Okay.
But so I'm much more technical, I would say, than political or activist.
Gotcha. And supporting that mission with the skill set that you have, which is perfect, right?
Yeah.
Are you doing stuff with attracting that next generation and getting them engaged in sort of, you obviously have got more than a few years as a software developer. Are you sort of involved in sort of like outreach to that next generation at all?
I sometimes will do like women and tech things, and those do attract a fair number of younger people.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, yeah, I'm happy to try to help, and I will sometimes give people advice over social media, though whether it's necessarily good advice, that's debatable.
That applies to everybody, I think.
I think my opinions.
Universal law there, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, cool. All right, Wendy. Well, we're going to let you go now.
That's great.
Thank you. Yeah, no, really good.
I'm fascinated by that.
Yeah, it's just nice. And so far this evening, we've had some really interesting stuff. And people have got some really interesting things to share. So
I can't compete with Chris, though.
No, it's different stuff, and that's what we want to try and get is different perspectives and different insights, and that's exactly why we're doing what we're doing. So very, very grateful for your time, Wendy. So thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.